People with ADHD, what is the worst thing about it? The inability to do something that you want to do, for no clearly discernible reason. When your brain just fucking blue screens for no reason, like mid-sentence. The part where you get maximum focus, on the wrong thing. Woozy face. Losing things that were just in your hand. The mental exhaustion involved in forming and completing a task list. Also, the hassle and cost surrounding medication. That others buy into a corny cartoonish portrayal of what it's like and don't very well understand what it's actually like. Emotional regulation and impulsivity is a terrible combination. Makes me feel like my thoughts are alien. That and my head is always running. Always. There's always dialogue in my head. Constantly. Non-stop. It is so tiring. When you get called out for not listening and you were so focused on paying attention, your focus was on the attention, not what was being said. Flushed face. People thinking I'm stupid when I'm just forgetful. I got diagnosed in my late 30s, a fab inattentive type, and I feel like I both wasted / was robbed of my prime years. I never finished college, lost literally relationship that wasn't immediate family, lost multiple jobs, blah blah blah. Even am incapable of retaining info / skills for hobbies I still truly love despite being medicated now. It makes me sad to even remotely think about all the what ifs I missed out in because my brain doesn't function properly. Not being able to focus on things that don't interest me. I can sit down and 3D model for 10 hours straight without eating, but bringing firewood into the house feels like it takes forever to get one armful. I hyper-focus on something for a few months and then I lose all interest in it because I get bored. Getting lost in the stupidest of rabbit holes in lieu of things you're actually supposed to be doing. Feeling overwhelmed by even the simplest of tasks. Being gung-ho about a hobby and abandoning it months later. Forgetting responsibilities unless they're right in front of you. Being paralyzed by choices so much you just always order the same 2 or 3 things from restaurants. Being overwhelmed by overstimulation like crowds and loud music. Preparing for failure and convincing yourself that it's a foregone conclusion. For instance, I almost discarded this post several times figuring nobody would find it interesting. Lack of executive function. I know I need to do A, I know I should do A, I could easily do A, and yet I'm sitting here thinking about A and it's like I can't will my body to get up and do A. Knowing that I'm being rude, but not being able to stop it. 2 things people with ADHD do in conversations is cut people off. Reply with a personal story that is related. I cut people off because I'm excited or I'll forget what I'm saying. If I try to remember, I won't process what they're saying. If you told me I went to see a concert this weekend, I might say something like, OMG, I love concerts, I went to an amazing one last month. It's not that I want to turn it to me, it's because it's showing how excited I am because I'm empathizing. Sucks. I know it's rude. I know it breaks social cues. But it's just how I communicate. Executive dysfunction. No fucking contest. This manifests as an inability to prioritize, which means paralysis over literally any scenario where you make decisions between several options. Unless, of course, one of those give dopamine, since all brains crave it, and our brain is deficient, in which case you can't stop doing it. You're trapped on TikTok, and you fucking hate yourself, but TikTok is feeding you dopamine through a drip and vacuuming the house won't even give you enough dopamine when you finish the damn job. That's why our attention deficit suddenly zeroes in on video games. We don't have a deficit of attention, we just can't regulate our attention. It's also why stimulant medication is so effective, it means what little dopamine our brains do make is enough for it to function almost normally. Imagine showing a starving child homework, and a video game that comes with a meal. Then in a few hours, homework, or TikTok with a bag of chips. Then vacuuming, or drawing their favorite character and also eating a sandwich. Our brains are fucking starving. Fucking starving, all the time. But because so many people can make enough dopamine, their little snacks throughout the day, they can't fathom why a person would choose rewatching a YouTube video for the 10th time, with a meal, over going out with friends to the park. There is no meal. We don't fucking care about the YouTube video, our brains are just fucking hungry. So, hours of my day are lost to doing nothing. I mean nothing. I have things to do, I want to do them, I'd pay dearly if I don't. But for some reason, I lost several hours of morning down a hole, and I don't know where it went. Was it because I spent nearly 2 hours in bed trying to figure out if I was going to go to work today? I got up as soon as I realized I only had one option, since I suddenly remembered my weekly in-house appointment. Or was it because I walked around the house and did 24 jobs, brush teeth, find hat, sharpen pencils, and forgot those also take time? Did I lose an extra hour because I went back inside to change to more comfortable socks? I don't know. I just can't get into the office before 11 a.m., even though I wake up at 7:30. And a lot of it is just not knowing exactly what needs to be done, or why, or how, or when, so even when people offer to help, you can't tell them what you'd like help with. After all, that's the bit you're stuck on. If you knew what was most important, you don't, you're paralyzed, actually fucking doing it easy. We don't struggle to physically do anything, we struggle to psychologically start anything. Telling you that you can help us by bringing in the laundry requires us to look at a list of laundry dishes, cook, work, change, and figure out which of those is the place to start, and that's what is broken. Too many people aren't aware that management is also labor, and that's the part of our brain that doesn't work. Case in point, I can't even figure out what I'd need to do to make this shorter. What parts of this comment can I safely remove? I don't know, it all looks equally important to me, so I have to leave the entire monstrosity here even though nobody will ever fucking read it, especially other ADHD people. It's so fucking hard to do anything. And no, you can't help. I goddamn wish you could. The only way another person can help is by making their own executive decisions on how to do so, and that's the biggest reason why ADHD people struggle in relationships, that becomes parentheism really fucking quick. Even when we know it's happening. Mentally knowing you have shit to do and feeling like shit when you can't get it done because you get too focused on immediate pleasures. I get frustrated easily, and if I'm not good at something right away then my brain just shuts down. I'm tired all the fucking time. The only way to survive now is to work some bureaucracy-riddled hellhole desk job that makes my every instinct scream in agony and rage. I may be a poor as fuck, lowly essential worker, but at least I'm not riding a fucking desk. I tried once and didn't last 3 months. Caring about people was apparently counterintuitive to recruiting. The inability to get up and do the dishes, or other chore, I know needs to be done because I'm here on frickin' Reddit instead. Or reading. Or watching movies. Or TV. Or a video game. I have massive trouble starting tasks I'm not interested in. And if I do manage to finally get started, I never finish. It's always I'll get back to this in just a few minutes and then it's time for bed and it's not done. But, if you give me a deadline and a dire consequence, and I will work like I'm in a pit crew in NASCAR. Tell me we have company arriving in half an hour and I'll get those dishes done in record time, no breaks, no problem.